Wow, I'm back. Boy, things have really heated up in this election, this campaign, rather, and for the Democratic convention. It's chaotic now. The Republican Majority Leader Mike Johnson says that if Joe Biden is replaced on the ticket, hey Donnie, I guess you heard Biden is not seeking re-election. He's thrown it to Kamala Harris, and boy, is it getting crazy. The Republicans wanted Biden off the ticket. Now they want to keep a bond. They're going to go to swing states like Wisconsin, and they said they're going to, excuse me, fight him going against going against this 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 is what people didn't want. No, but it's going to be a good one. I still think the Democrats are going to win, but I'll tell you, Joe Joe Biden was older. He was older. It was time. I mean, I was going to vote for him anyway. I'm not a sheep going to slaughter because Project 2025 has started. They starting before they get in office because they planned on this. So they they're gonna fight dirty, and you need somebody who can do the stamina. Joe Biden has had COVID more than one time, and for what I understand, COVID is rough on older people. I didn't catch COVID because I was in the high risk category because I was sick. I had breast cancer. I had surgery for that. Plus, I'm an asthmatic, so I stayed. I ordered. I did all my shopping on Amazon when the you know when COVID was raving, but you know I was still going to vote for him, and I still think Joe Biden could have won, but he was ready to give it up. I think he was, and I think he was very strategic with what he did. I think he said, "I'll step down, but you have to put Kamala at the top of the ticket." That's what I think. That's just my take on things, you know, because it, you know, I don't know, but anyway, this is going to be dirty because they're already starting to smear campaigns. But I have a little something here. I'm going to wait and see if somebody else comes up because you know, they got some things, and there's some people out there who are not for, who have channels who are not for Donald Trump, and I'll tell you this much: they ain't playing. They got some stuff on Donald Trump that they got in store for to use against Donald Trump if he comes after Kamala. So this is going to be a real interesting one. Yep, it's going to be very interesting. Uh, you know, I just, I'm just, woof. This is crazy, 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 crazy. You know, it's going to be a tough one, but I think the Democrats can pull it out. You know, it's I was talking with Andrea, and you know what it is? It's the elites, the rich of the rich, the billionaires. Not so much the millionaire people, the little, because they're small, but the billionaires who have more money than they'll ever use and want more and want to keep people poor. But anyway, I think one mistake I'll say, I personally think that Joe Biden made was if he had never said the tax break, what he was going to make the billionaires pay their fair share of taxes. I think that's what did him in, honestly. If he had waited and waited till he got in and then did it, I think he would have made it. He would have made it for his second term, but he's happy with what he did. He wanted to become president, and he did it. Even if it's one term, he did more in one term than a lot of presidents do in 4 years. And I'm kind of disappointed in Barack Obama because Joe Biden went out for him when nobody wanted a black president when Donald Trump attacked him. And I think, I kind of feel like he let Joe Biden down. But Joe is sick. He's sick. They're saying he has dementia and Alzheimer. I'm not going to go that far and say that about the man, because Donald Trump and Donald Trump is he don't act too swift in the head either. So I mean, if you want to talk about who's got this and who's got this, that Donald Trump is leading the pack, because it looks like he ain't got too much sense in his darn head right about now. So it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll see. Andrea was up here before. I don't know if she's going to come up again, but she was here today. But I just had to do this. And I'm going to wait a little bit longer. So, Jade, have you heard anything from Jade? Have you seen anything with Jade? Is he still around, or, I was just wondering, because I hadn't seen anything from him, but then again, I really haven't been on anything. I'll wait another 5 minutes. If nobody else comes up, I'll play what I got. I got some things I want to play. So, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah. Oh, okay. That was the last time I saw him, too, around Shaka's channel. So he's okay. And because I haven't been doing too much with the lives anyway. It's been so hot. I've just been trying to stay cool. It's steaming here. So, like I said, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, not even 10 minutes. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. If I'm going to leave this so if anybody wants to see it, they'll be able to see it. Okay, here I go. Let me share the screen. Yeah. So,
issued a statement that has rocked the political world. Quote, "On behalf of the American people, I thank Joe Biden for his extraordinary leadership as President of the United States and for his decades of service to our country. His remarkable legacy of accomplishment is unmatched in modern American history, surpassing the legacy of many presidents who have served 2 terms in office. It is a profound honor to serve as his vice president, and I am deeply grateful to the president, Dr. Biden, and the entire Biden family. I first came to know President Biden through his son, Beau. We were friends from our days working together as attorneys general of our home states. As we worked together, Beau would tell me stories about his dad, the kind of father and the kind of man he was. And the qualities Beau revered in his father are the same qualities, the same values I have seen every single day in Joe's leadership as president. His honesty and integrity, his big heart and commitment to his faith and his family, and his love of our country and the American people. With this selfless and patriotic act, President Biden is doing what he has done throughout his life of service, putting the American people and our country above everything else. I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination. Over the past year, I have traveled across the country talking with Americans about the clear choice in this momentous election. And this is what I will continue to do in the days and weeks ahead. I will do everything in my power to unite the Democratic Party and unite our nation to defeat Donald Trump and his extreme Project 2025 agenda. We have 107 days until Election Day. Together, we will fight, and together we will win. All of which is to say, Kamala's in. And it's not just in rhetoric. She's now officially filed to run for president, and she has the over $100 million Biden-Harris war chest at her full disposal, meaning this race is official, and she's going to be the Democratic nominee. And she'll have the funds to ensure that every American knows the stakes of this election. The left has wasted zero time coalescing around Kamala Harris, racking up endorsements by the minute. Pelosi, Clyburn, the Clintons, Emily List, the Congressional Black Caucus, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and probably 100 more people and groups by the time you watch this. And if you want to know why the surge in enthusiasm, well, here's an ad that she ran in 2020 that might be especially effective against Donald Trump in particular.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader. in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
She shut down for-profit colleges that swindled Americans. He was a for-profit college.
At Trump University, we teach success.
Literally. He's owned by the big banks. She's the attorney general who beat the biggest banks in America and forced them to pay homeowners $18 billion. He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump. So if that's what you're looking for in your next president, there's really only one. Kamala.
Not for nothing, but if I was a convicted felon, the last person I would want to go up against is a prosecutor. Just, for starters. In fact, Kamala is so effective that if you look back to her previous campaigns, she even received the support of one Donald Trump. That's right, thousands of dollars from Trump to Kamala Harris in 2011 and 2013. That's how good she was. That the guy running against her donated to her previous campaigns. Hell of an endorsement for Kamala. In fact, it's already become clear that Trump himself doesn't know how he's going to run against her. This was his first foray into trying to attack Kamala at his last rally, and didn't exactly go off too well.
From the moment we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden and Kamala, I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. You can tell a lot by a laugh. No, she's crazy. She's nuts. She's not as crazy as Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy.
If the best that Donald Trump has is some tepid attack about her laugh, then he really isn't prepared for this race. And here's why this is especially...
already said this race will be the prosecutor versus the felon if we were having a boxing match. In Congress, Republicans are holding on to a razor-thin majority in the House. Are you confident that this kind of momentum that the vice president may bring to the race now, that Democrats are on track to win back the chamber, which would make you the speaker? What are you hearing from members? I know you are probably going to be meeting and having Zoom calls with them, but what are you hearing, and are you hearing anything from voters? You and I were just at a church in Brooklyn a couple hours ago, and it seemed like it was enthusiasm there. What are you hearing, Mr. Leader?
Members are very excited. Voters on the ground are very excited. The party is very excited. We want to continue to lift up President Joe Biden and all of his incredible accomplishments. And as he's made the decision to pass the torch, plot the path forward to make sure that we win the presidency, hold the Senate, and certainly take back control of the United States House of Representatives. Everything that we care about is on the line. If Roe v. Wade can fall, then anything can fall. Social Security can fall, Medicare can fall, the Affordable Care Act can fall, the progress that we've made on the climate crisis can fall, gun safety reform can fall, democracy itself as we know it can fall. So everything we care about is on the line, and you're going to see an intensity and an energy and a capacity unleashed by the American people to make sure that this goes the right way in November.
Are you confident about the Democrats' ability to unify after a nominee is in place so close to the election?
I am. I think that we will do what's necessary over the next few weeks to prepare for the convention. It'll be an exciting convention in Chicago. We'll put on full display our agenda for the American people and do what is necessary in order to leave that convention unified, get the job done, work as hard as we can, day after day, week after week, month after month, and be successful on November 5th.
We must stand against violence perpetrated against presidential candidates in Pennsylvania. We must stand against all violence. The violence perpetrated against George Floyd of Minnesota, against black veterans like police officers Eugene Goodman on January 6th, and black election workers like Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss in Atlanta. We have to stand against the violence and intimidation of white supremacy, the murder, innocent lives in that grocery store in Buffalo, New York when I went up there. Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina. Was standing against the violence that murdered children in Sandy Hook and Uvalde. Concert goers in Las Vegas. Innocents on the street all across America that never make the news. There's Uvalde every day in the communities across the country. If you're going to be outspoken on one, don't be silent on others. We're going to speak about violence. We're going to speak about guns. More children in America die of a gunshot wound than any other reason. That's stunning and that is sick. And it's sheer cowardness if we do nothing about it. So, if you want to stand against violence in America, then join me in getting these weapons of war off the streets of America. An AR-15 was used in the shooting of Donald Trump, just as it was an assault weapon that killed so many others, including children. It's time to outlaw them. I did it once and I will do it again. Now, just because we must lower the temperature in our politics and relate to violence, it doesn't mean we should stop telling the truth. Who you are, what you've done, what you'll do, that's fair game. As Harry Truman said, I've never given anyone hell. I just told the truth and they thought it was hell. That's what I'm going to do. Well, here's the truth about why Donald Trump's presidency was hell for Black America. He tried to repeal Obamacare to kick millions, I mean millions of Black Americans off their health insurance. He had a $2 trillion tax cut that overwhelmingly benefited the super wealthy, the biggest corporations, and exploded the federal debt larger than any one president has in one term. He left no room for us to do what we should be doing. Invest in things that affect people's lives, like child care, elder care, and so much more that grow the economy and help people. His mismanagement of the pandemic was especially devastating to Black communities. Oh, I know, because in other countries, other communities of color. That economic crisis drove up Black unemployment, decimated small Black businesses, and you peacefully protested George Floyd's murder. Donald Trump called for the National Guard to go after you. What in the hell's the matter with this man? No, I'm serious. Go figure. From a guy who spread the birthism lie against Barack Obama, saying he wasn't born in America and he wasn't a U.S. citizen. Of course, here's what he thinks of black jobs. I love his phrase, black jobs. It tells a lot about the man and about his character. Folks, I know what a black job is. It's a vice president of the United States. I know what a black job is. The first Black president in American history, Barack Obama. I was vice president to Barack, and she is my vice president. I nominated the first Black Secretary of Defense in American history. He's doing one hell of a job. I nominated the first Black woman to the United States Supreme Court. It mattered. It mattered.
Okay. Okay.
And I promised myself, and I promised America, that my administration would look like America. And I'm proud that we have the most diverse administration in all of history that taps into the full talents of our nation. That's who we are. These guys don't get it. That's why we're so successful. No, I'm serious. That's what makes us the greatest nation on earth. That's not hyperbole. Folks, it's because of you that I'm president and Kamala Harris is vice president. And by the way, she's not only a great vice president, she could be president of the United States. Thank you. With the help of the NAACP, the Black elected members in the Congress, we've gotten so much done. Seriously, presidential historian said we've gotten more done of consequence than any president since Franklin Roosevelt. Just think about where the Black community was when I came into office. Think about how far the Black community has come. But we still got a long way to go. COVID no longer controls our lives. Our economy is not figuratively, literally, the strongest economy in the world. Historic low Black unemployment. Record growth of Black small businesses. Let me say this again, because Trump is lying like hell about it. The Black unemployment hit a record low under Biden-Harris administration. The first bill I passed, we put $1,400 checks plus $300 checks per child, per family, per month in the pockets of people in this country to get them through the pandemic. Not Trump's administration. Kamala and I did that. We put more money in the pockets of than anyone. We cut Black, and the consequence, we cut Black child poverty in half. And what are we finally getting through to people? My economic policy grows the economy when we spend money. Grows it. We grew the American economy to the strongest in the world. And I'm determined to make that tax cut permanent. No child should ever go hungry in America. And by the way, all the data shows is they can't let them tell us we drive up deficits. They drive up deficits, folks. When you have child care, guess what? Mom or dad can work. And the child can be safe. We're connecting black neighborhoods that were cut off with old highways and disinvestment decades ago. My city, Wilmington, Delaware, I-95 runs up through what used to be the black community, divided it, 6 lanes wide. We're going to make sure that the states want it. We're going to be able to pave over at the top of that and still have the highway. Connecting neighborhoods. We're removing, which is costly, every poisonous lead pipe in a house in America so every child can drink clean water without fear of brain damage. We're delivering high-speed and affordable broadband. No child should have to sit out in the parking lot with their moms in front of a McDonald's so they can get online to do their homework. And because of you, we're not only protecting Obamacare, you allowed me to increase it, making health care more affordable. We're putting, and by the way, more than it's ever been, millions of African Americans now have health care because of what we've done. We're putting home ownership within reach. How do you generate generational wealth, no matter what community you're from? I know how we did it when everything got stuck in Scranton and we no jobs. Moved to Delaware. Dad worked like healthy, could get down payment to buy a small house. That's how you build equity. As small as a 3-bedroom split-level home with 4 kids and a grandpa living with us, but it was a home, and he was able to build some equity. Look, we're making the most significant investment in climate ever in all of history. Including most significant action on environmental justice ever. Look, folks, think about this. My state of Delaware, if you know, not many don't know my state. My state of Delaware has a Delaware River runs up along, it's jagged. But at the top of the state, there's a half moon. And it goes up along more oil refineries on the other side of that half moon in Marcus Hook areas than anywhere in the country, including Houston. And guess what? The wind blows southeast. We had the highest cancer rate for the longest time. Do you know who's affected? Fence line communities. And you know who the fence line communities are? Black communities. And I promised, as we make this legislation work, we're going to take care of those communities first. First. I mean it. Same way in Louisiana, same way in other places. Look, we've received student debt for more than 4 million borrowers. A significant amount are black borrowers. I don't know how many have called me, say, Mr. President, God, I've gotten phone numbers, I've called them back. Mr. President, thank you. I couldn't get married. My debt was so large. Couldn't have children. Couldn't think of, no, I'm serious, you know it. Couldn't buy a home. But what you did, you freed me of my debt and you gave me $10,000 for a down payment in a home. This project, 2024, 2025, Trump's deal. You know, he talks about education. HBCUs are as good as any other university. Guess what the problem is? No, I'm serious. Not a joke. And Kamala and I have a constant fight. She says Howard's the best. I say Delaware State's the best. But that's where I got my start. But my point is this. They don't have the endowment. So what are the jobs of the future? The high-tech jobs of the future. You're going to pay a lot of money. They don't have the money for the laboratories. They don't have the money for all that material. So that's why I've invested a record $16 billion in HBCUs. Because no HBCU student is any less qualified than any student anywhere else. And by the way, we're making sure that no one goes to jail for the mere use or possession of marijuana. The record should be expunged. It holds them back. All told because of you, NAACP, we're making the most significant investments in Black America ever in all of history. We're seeing the results. The racial wealth gap is the lowest it's been in 20 years. Inflation is down in 3 years and coming down further, and we're going to have, as they say, a soft landing. Folks, you're going to see us grow faster and faster. That's not just my view. It's the view of 16 Nobel Prize winning economists who put out a statement looking at my economic plan and Trump's. They said, my plan will continue to lower inflation, continue to grow the economy. Prices are falling for cars, appliances, and groceries. We're going to keep corporate greed at bay. But here's the thing, what it said about Trump. They said his policies will cause a recession. No, this are not Democratic outfit. 16 Nobel laureates. Look, I come from the corporate state of the world, Delaware. I know how they work. There's more corporations incorporated in my state than any state in America, all combined. But that's what? We have to deal with corporate greed now. No, it is. Corporate profits are double since the pandemic. And they keep bringing prices down. We have to bring prices down further. Look, folks, the idea that corporate-owned housing is able to raise your rent $300-400 a month or something, under what I'm about to announce, they can't raise it more than $55. That debate is taking place. The bottom line is we're just getting started. Well, no, it's not enough to talk about the past. We need a vision for the future. Here's my plan for the first 100 days of the second term. Kamala and I are calling on Congress to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. I did all that I was constantly able to do with executive authority, but we need the act. And we need to pass the Freedom to Vote Act. I'll sign them both into law immediately. And guess what? Come hell or high water, we're going to restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land. I know you say, Joe, you may not have a Congress. Well, guess what? You all told me I couldn't pass the Inflation Reduction Act. You all told me I couldn't face it. Anyway, we did it with your help. Republicans blocked police reform in Congress. So I signed a historic executive order on police reform. I'm going to come back and we'll sign George Floyd and Policing Act into law come hell or high water. Not only going to stop MAGA Republicans, going to stop them in their program on 2025. We're going to stop them from cutting Social Security and Medicare. I'm going to expand Social Security and Medicare by making the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. We're going to bring rents down, as I said. We're going to build 2 million affordable homes. And cap rent increases at 5% a year so corporate landlords can't gouge. Anyway, I don't want to get going. I'm going to get very upset. But they're just gouging Americans. And we're going to keep relieving student debt. And we're going to end medical debt.
Yes.
We've already made sure medical debt can no longer be put on a credit report. Well, I'm working with states to wipe out medical debt for pennies on the dollar so it's not hanging over you the rest of your life. We're going to raise the federal minimum wage. Our first term, we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35. total drug costs for seniors beginning in 2024-5 at $2,000 and some of those cancer drugs are $10, $12, $14,000 a year. But the second term, we're going to do that for not just seniors, for everyone in America. And by the way, not only saves lives, it will save taxpayers, just what I did on the first round on dealing with Medicare. It saves the taxpayer $160 billion because they don't have to pay these exorbitant prices to these anyway. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market. That threats everything. That treats everything from heart disease to arthritis. In the next term, want to go further, give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 50 drugs a year, not 10. That not only save lives, it's estimated to save the taxpayer another $200 billion a year. This is saving taxpayers money. By the way, if you notice, all the stuff they said, big spend in Biden, we have lowered the deficit, not raised it. We've increased economic growth. Folks, here's what else I'm determined to do. I'm determined to end Trump's tax cuts for the very wealthy and big corporations, and make the tax code fair and ease the burden on working people. I kept my commitment that no one making less than $400,000 I never saw in my life till I got elected president will pay a penny more in federal taxes. But here's the deal. We have in America, since the pandemic, 1,000 billionaires. 1,000. You know how much in federal tax they pay? 8.2%. That's their federal tax, 8.2%. We're going to make billionaires pay a minimum of 25%, which is low. No billionaire should pay a lower tax rate than a teacher, a firefighter, a nurse, a janitor. That's simply ridiculous. And when we do that, that alone will generate $500 billion in revenue over the next 10 years, allowing us to lower costs for families and save the government.
President Biden's speech. You can go to our Black Star Network app or our YouTube channel. You can see the rest right now live in Las Vegas. Congressman Stephen Horsford, chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, is speaking at this economic summit conversation. Let's go live right now.
Doing everything right to feel like you're not getting ahead. But because you voted, this diverse district delivered. And we came through for President Biden in 2020. We delivered with large margins, giving him Nevada, earning him Nevada, and its 6 electoral votes. And because of you, the President and Vice President Kamala Harris delivered. It's because of you that we got COVID relief, infrastructure, the Inflation Reduction Act, capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. It's because of you that we reduced child poverty by 50%. And it's because of you that we fought for and won meaningful climate action, the first bipartisan gun safety legislation in decades, and student debt relief. And the list goes on and on. And today is no exception. Because of you, President Biden is here to share some more good news. Just this morning, the White House announced that our application that was developed and submitted by our community was selected for $50 million in funding for Marble Manor.
All right, folks, we're going to do a split screen here. We're going to keep that going. We're going to wait to see if President Biden speaks. I want to go to my panel here. I'm going to start with you, Larry. You heard what the president said there. Very vigorous, talking about what he accomplished for Black America, what he laid out in the speech to the NAACP, Donald Trump could never say. And you also notice Donald Trump has no plans and will not be at the NAACP convention in Las Vegas. I doubt he'll be at the National Urban League next week or the National Bar Association or any other Black convention.
Roland, I don't even know if former President Trump knows what NAACP means, right? So he's not going to be there because we obviously made the joke, and President Biden certainly made an excellent point about what black jobs. That comment that former President Trump made about black jobs. But listen, President Biden and VP Harris have a comprehensive record of addressing issues that have impacted the black community. I think people really don't understand in terms of, first of all, the forgiving student loans. I know a number of friends who had their student loans forgiven. And this is how you build black wealth, because black people are more likely to incur debt because we come from underserved communities, been underinvested. So the student loan forgiveness alone has had a huge impact on people that I know. They can now buy homes, they can invest in land, they can send their kids to college and make other important investments. So that by itself is critically important. Roland, we also have to talk about the Infrastructure Act and the CHIPS and manufacturing, science and manufacturing bill. All of these bills lead to stimulating the economy. So we also have to make the mention, as President Biden talked about, in April of last year, we had the lowest unemployment rate ever recorded by the Department of Labor. This is critically important, as we just remember a few years ago how high the unemployment rate was during COVID and after COVID. In addition to that, the Biden administration has made it a priority to make sure that the resources come from the federal government to make sure there are more black-owned businesses. So he obviously has a lot of little points he made, and they're very important in this election year.
Oh, let's go back to Las Vegas right now.
Protect the progress that we've made and build on it. Together, we can build an economy that works for everyone. And together, we can protect our freedoms, our rights, and our opportunities for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my honor. Please join me in welcoming our President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen, for hosting this summit. You're a good friend, and I'm always grateful for your leadership, and I mean that sincerely. And thanks to all of you for being here. You're part of an economy that I've always believed in. We're finally building. The days of failed trickle-down economics are over. We're building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, so that when that happens, the middle class does well, the poor have a shot, and the wealthy still do very well. We're also improving that Wall Street didn't build America. The middle class built America, and unions built the middle class. And our plan is working. For example, my administration announced today that Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority, the city of Las Vegas will receive, as pointed out, $50 million grant, allowing the city to renovate and build hundreds of affordable housing units. Invest in early learning, which studies show increase the prospects of 3 and 4 and 5 years old being able to finish high school and go all the way down to community college. Continue to support small businesses. Small business makes up half the economy, not just the Fortune 500. Small business makes up half the economic growth in America. I want to thank Stephen for his leadership on all of this. It grows the economy. It's what we've been doing from the start. We inherited a pandemic, an historic economic crisis. As soon as I came to office, I signed the American Rescue Plan, turned things around. For example, it funded $1 billion for Nevada to help boost affordable housing, help 8 million families avoid foreclosure and eviction, stay in their home when they're little or no income in the depths of the pandemic. And now, 8,000 new homes are being built across Clark County for families, seniors, and veterans. This grows the economy. It grows the economy. That's not all. Continue to take corporate greed, take it on, getting our rents down. On my watch, America has been building more houses and apartments than any time during the Trump presidency. And Stephen's help a few months ago, I came here to Nevada and announced the boldest housing plan in a generation to make housing more affordable for working families. And that includes building 2 million more homes, providing $10,000 tax credit for middle-class families buying their first home with incomes under $200,000 a year. It's going to help lower housing costs. It's going to help people start to build wealth. Today, my administration is sending a very clear message to corporate landlords. We are going to cap rent increases at no more than 5% a year, period. We're letting them know if they abuse the system, you'll lose valuable federal tax breaks. We also just announced a new initiative to repurpose federal land that we no longer need to build affordable housing. Here in Nevada, that would support 15,000 or more affordable homes. It matters. This matters. As soon as we came to office, we also changed the way the Paycheck Protection Act worked under my predecessor. When he favored big businesses to qualify over mom and pop business, we moved women and minority-owned businesses and small business to the front of the line instead of keeping them at the back of the line, as my predecessor did. This grows the economy. We increased funding for Minority Business and Development Agency, which my predecessor tried to eliminate. By increasing funding, we can help even more entrepreneurs from underserved communities grow and expand their business. We're increasing the share of federal contract dollars going to smaller disadvantaged businesses from 10% to 15% of all the funding that's available. And this grows the economy. In addition, we're relieving student debt for borrowers across Nevada. The Supreme Court blocked my original plan to help more than 40 million working and middle-class American students get relief, but they couldn't stop me. For example, I took the existing loan forgiveness program for public servants, teachers, nurses, firefighters, police, etc., and made it work. It says that if you work for 10 years in those professions and you paid what you owed for your student loan, at the end of 10 years, it's wiped out. This is good for the economy because it helps folks who are doing the right thing and finally be able to start businesses, start families, start homes, build generational. I don't know how many letters I've gotten from into the White House. Dear Mr. President, my student debt hung over me like a lead balloon. It kept me from being able to get married. It kept us from being able to have a child. I wasn't able to even begin to buy a home. And this has all changed. People just want a shot. But take a close look at what Trump and the MAGA Republicans are proposing in Trump's Project 2025. It cut off funding for all Hispanic saving institutions, all Hispanic serving institutions, including community colleges like the College of Southern Nevada, where we're here today. They would repeal my bipartisan infrastructure law that's already invested $3.7 billion for Nevada right here in this state, like America First high-speed rail line that's going to take you from Las Vegas to Los Angeles in 2 hours, create over 30,000 jobs, and guess what? Save billions of tons because of pollution. Because people, all the studies show, you can get from point A to point B in a train or a vehicle the same distance, you take the train. We'll also invest in $90 billion to replace poisonous lead pipes here in Nevada. So every child can turn on a faucet and drink clean water without fear of getting brain damage because of what's going on. We're doing the same thing by delivering affordable high-speed broadband to every Nevadan. Remember how Trump promised Infrastructure Week? Every week for 4 years? He didn't build a damn thing. Nothing. Now his Project 2025 repeals all we're doing. That's what he wants to do. The bottom of the line is this. Because Trump failed in handling the pandemic, lives were lost, and our economy tanked. And now we're back. Jobs are up. Wages are up. Tourism is back. The economy is growing. Inflation is down and continues to go down. And 16 Nobel laureates last week put out a paper saying that America's economy is going to grow under me and inflation will continue to go down. But they say under Trump's plan, these same economists say we'll fall into recession. Inflation will be badly damaged hardworking Americans. In fact, Trump's calling for a 10% tariff on everything imported to America, including basic necessities like fruits, vegetables, coffee, and more. The economists tell us his plan would cost working families a new tax of $2,500 a year. Can't let that happen. By the way, these aren't liberal economists. These are Wall Street Journal economists. These are economists from the major institutions in America. We have to do more. That's why I'm determined to finish this job. Look, let me tell you my 100-day agenda, and I'm not going to keep it real long. We're going to make sure you own more and you owe less. That means we're going to keep relieving student debt. We're going to end medical debt. We already made sure medical debt can no longer be put on a credit report. We also work with states to wipe out medical debt for pennies on the dollar. We're going to raise the federal minimum wage. We're going to pass the PRO Act and end union busting once and for all. As I mentioned, we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, and total drug costs beginning in January. Total drug costs at $2,000 a year, no matter how much they spend, because a lot of them now need cancer drugs, need heart medicines. It ranges from anywhere from $2,000 a year to $4,000 a year to $10,000 to $12,000. The second term, we're going to make sure that's not only exists, but for every single American, every American. Folks, and it's not going to cost the government money. It saves the government money. By the way, these reforms save the lives of taxpayers, but they also save the government. Just what we've done so far, $160 billion savings. And people don't focus on it, but here's the deal. Instead of Medicare having to pay out $400 for insulin, Medicare only has to pay out $35. It just is a giant savings. This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the costliest drugs on the market. Treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. The next term, want to go further and give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices for 50 drugs a year for the next 10 years. That'll not only save lives, will save the taxpayers another estimated $200 billion. But get this, Trump will give the power back to Big Pharma to charge whatever they want. He also wants to terminate, I love his phrasing, terminate the Affordable Care Act, which means the average family would pay $13,000 more a year for health care because guess what? They can't get coverage if they don't have the Affordable Care Act because they may have a pre-existing condition. That means 3 million Black Americans, 4 million Latinos, 1 million Asian Americans will be robbed of their health care coverage. Look, I'm taking the most significant action ever on climate. That includes bringing relief to millions of suffering from the biggest weather killer of all in America, extreme heat. I must tell you, this surprised me when I learned it about 8 months ago. You add up hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, everything. More people die from extreme heat than all those other natural events combined. And look what it costs. It costs money for people to have air conditioning. It costs money for people to have the ability to turn on what they need. Meanwhile, Trump says he doesn't believe climate change is real. Maybe you should step out here in Vegas. But it's 120 degrees in his bare feet. Look, we're going to end Trump's. I don't want to get going here. We're going to end Trump's tax cuts for the very wealthy and big corporations so they start paying their fair share. I kept my commitment, so no one could say I was going after people with money. I kept my commitment that no one making less than $400,000 a year would pay a single penny more in federal taxes. There are 1,000 billionaires in America. Right now, you know what their average cost of how much they pay in federal taxes? 8.2%. 8.2%. I'm going to make sure billionaires have to pay a minimum of 25%, which isn't even the highest bracket. No billionaire should pay a tax rate lower than a teacher, a firefighter, a nurse, someone working like a belt. You know what that one thing will do and get it done? It will generate $500 billion in revenues over the next 10 years. Allowing us to do more for child care, elder care, bring down the federal deficit, so much more. And by the way, What happens when people don't have to worry about what's going to happen to the child if they go to work, they have child care? The economy grows. It grows. It grows. I signed the American Rescue Plan into law in the months of coming to office. I put $1,400 checks into pockets, expanded child tax credit, sending $300 checks per child, per family, per month to the pockets to help them get through this pandemic. Cut child poverty in half for black families, Latinos, and Asian and tribal communities. Republicans let it expire. I want to reinstate and make the child care tax credit permanent. Permanent. There's so much more I want to say to you, but I'm resisting. I'm told I should be shorten this up a little bit. Let me close with this. I look at all of you. I see your talent, your dedication. Most of all, I see the dignity of your work. That's what I can honestly say. Honest to God, I've never been more optimistic about America's prospects than I am now. Never. We just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together and work together. And that's what we're going to do. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Folks, you were just watching President Joe Biden there speaking at the Prosperity Summit there in Las Vegas, put together by Congressman Stephen Horsford.
Well, I'm gonna end this because I think I got enough on here. I've actually been on here an hour, and I think I got enough message out, that everybody needs to stand behind Kamala. Everybody needs to stand behind Kamala, because if we don't and Donald Trump gets in, it's going to be hell to pay. And if he loses, it's still going to be hell to pay, So I'm going to end this one. Glad to see you back, Donnie. I still got one. I got a big one coming for the 31st. I might have to change the date and make it August, sometime in August, because I'm in the process of trying to get my house together to move. But anyway, I'll see you the next time. Go close there. I don't know. Ain't no telling. Not much he could do, I suppose. Oh, he could do a hell of a lot now. He could do a hell of a lot. They say there's going to be blood in the street. So, yeah. Bye. It's almost 8 o'clock. Let me get up and finish what I was doing, but I just had to do it. I heard all this nonsense. I'll be back later.